Presented by Mercedes-Benz Vans, Lindsay Rhodes alongside Scott Hansen.
Yeah, we are looking ahead to the weekend. Some teams are looking ahead to next year. Latest headlines for you, including 2 more head coaching hires today. The Broncos have their man, Vic Fangio, hired today to be Denver's head coach. Fangio is 60 years old. He's been a defensive coordinator in the league for a long time. Spent the past 4 seasons as Chicago's defensive coordinator. The Browns are staying in-house for their new head coach. Cleveland promoting their offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens, to the top spot. Kitchens helped Baker Mayfield flourish in the back half of this season. And 2 of the new head coaches who were hired yesterday had their debut news conferences today. Both of them 39 years old, first-time head coaches. That's Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay Packers right there. And this is Cliff Kingsbury with the Arizona Cardinals. We will hear from both of those guys coming up in just a bit. Now to the games this weekend. The early game on Sunday, Chargers at Patriots. Tom Brady and the fellas coming in off the bye. Phillip Rivers and the Bolts, impressive on the road last week, beating Baltimore. Back to practice for both today.
He's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to play. What he's done at this level, at the highest level for, I don't want to short him, 18, 19, 20 seasons, whatever he is right there, has been remarkable. And helped lead that team to, a bunch of championships and a ton of these games. So we know that this is when he and this team have always been at their best.
All right, we have the game covered from all sides here. Omar Ruiz is with the Chargers. Home field advantage, and the first word on the first report goes to the Patriots and Mike Giardi. Hey, Mike.
Scott, Patriots very wary of Phillip Rivers, who they believe right now is playing at an increasingly high level. They said, quite frankly, you'd love to be able to fool him, but with Rivers having been in the league so long, it is hard to do. Trey Flowers, Patriots defensive end, who spent quite a bit of time in the backfield for the Patriots this year, said he's as tough as they come. You hit him, he keeps getting up, he keeps making plays. He spread the ball around quite a bit last week in the wild card round, completions to 9 different players. Bill Belichick puts him in the elite category.
Obviously a smart guy. Offense runs through him, handles things at the line of scrimmage, makes good decisions with the ball. Uses everybody, as he always does. He gets the ball to everybody, all the receivers, all the tight ends, all the backs. It's very, very efficient, makes big plays, good in situations, third down, red area. It's really good.
Really good and tough to bring down. Patriots secondary getting a boost. Devin McCourty, who had not practiced last week, dealing with the after effects of a concussion against the Jets, a full participant in practice for the Patriots, Scott, and that is good news here in New England.
That's Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Patriots are undefeated this season. We go all the way across the country to the West Coast now. Omar Ruiz with the Chargers, where the mood was anything but, it had to be somber there today, Omar.
One of the best people in the NFL, Brandon Mebane, suffering the worst kind of heartbreak. His infant daughter died last Thursday after battling a heart issue. She was born prematurely in November, and she had been receiving treatment at a hospital in Omaha, Nebraska. And Mebane, as you're probably familiar, had missed several games down the stretch of the season, going back and forth to be with his family. He said they're all home now here in Southern California. Football obviously secondary at this point. His teammates saying they can't imagine what he's going through, but they are certainly glad to have him back. He is a big part of their defensive line. He is expected to play on Sunday, as is running back Melvin Gordon, who did not participate in practice today as he rested both of his banged up knees.
Omar, please, if you're able, extend the Mebane family and the Chargers football family our deepest sympathies. Thank you both.
I certainly will, yeah.
Devastating news there from a matchup standpoint, though. I think that this is a thoroughly interesting game because while the narrative surrounding the Chargers this year has deservedly been about their balance and their talent, the Patriots, who everyone seems ready to turn the page on, articles written about the end of the era, they actually rank better than LA in scoring offense, total offense, and scoring defense. So while they don't wow you as often as other teams, they get it done, Willie McGinnis, and you know as well as anyone that that's the case. That said, your you're sitting across from someone now in James Jones who does not think that they will get it done this weekend. Why
Making
is
your
that?
pick already this early in the week?
Man, I love Phillip, man. I love this is a favorable matchup to me for filthy Phillip Rivers against the Patriots defense. Patriots defense is ranked 22nd against the pass. Filthy, top 10. But not only that, they have 3 very good wide receivers. Belichick's used to stopping AB. You can double him, and then you can put your best corner on Juju. But you have Keenan Allen, who goes in the slot and goes outside, so you're going to have to keep eyes on him. And then you have Tyrell Williams, who can stretch the field and make big-time plays. And then you have Mike Williams, who can make big-time plays and stretch the field. So one of these guys you're going to have to leave open one-on-one. And they are going to go to that matchup, that one-on-one matchup, and then they're ranked 30th in getting sacked. So Phillip's going to have time to spread the ball around, and Willie knows the first thing a defense wants to do is stop the run. And if they try to stop Melvin Gordon, those 3 guys on the outside are going to make plays. And I'm looking right here. They gave up 31 to the Jags, 34 to the Titans, 31 to the Bears, 34 to the Dolphins. They don't got the firepower filthy Phillip Rivers has. I think this is a very good matchup for the Chargers.
Yeah, they don't. And you got to understand going in that there's going to be some mismatches in this matchup. But what I will say is they faced those type of offenses all year long. Don't forget about Pittsburgh. Don't forget against Kansas City and some other offenses. So they understand that you can't take away everything. And that's always been our mantra going into every single game. When we played against some of the best offenses, you got to figure out who to stop first. And that is Melvin Gordon. Yes, if you don't stop Melvin Gordon, then it's going to open up everything. So it starts up front. Start with Melvin Gordon. Don't give him big explosive plays. Set the edge. You hear that time and time again because they haven't done a good job at stopping the run against a lot of teams going in. And then with Rivers, we understand based on the running game, there will open up explosive plays on the back end. You cannot match up with everybody man-to-man every single play. So I say mix those coverage. You're going to bring middle-of-the-pocket blitz. Baltimore did a good job the first time. Take away his first look, make him go to his second and third look, or get a sack. And I think the last part is Keenan Allen. He's their utility receiver, James. He's the guy who will run the speed sweeps. He'll line them up in the bunch. They'll put him in the slot, move him into motion. We had a play called double, whether it was 84 or 13 in this play. We're going to double him some plays and play zone on the back end, but there's other times where we're going to play just straight zone and make him throw the ball out front and break down and make a play. But if there's one guy you got to eliminate, I would say from doing a lot of good things, it's Keenan Allen because he can hurt you, which opens up a plays for all the other 5 or 6 or 7 guys. Don't forget about Hunter Henry.
It's a tough challenge.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge, but they've been able to do that in certain games. The question is, can they do that in this game?
Hunter Henry, the tight end who was activated this week, might see him for the first time. Pats 8 for their last 8 in Foxborough in the postseason. We thought they were going to have the advantage of snow also. Turns out the forecast has mellowed a bit. No snow expected, just low temps
just
in the
cold.
high 20s.
Just cold.
Yeah, real cold.
Just cold.
One game that will not be affected by weather, no matter what, Saints-Eagles at the Superdome. This is a game that Sean Payton is pulling out all the stops to motivate his players for. Listen to this. He walked into the locker room yesterday with armed guards, a Lombardi trophy, and $225,000 cash. Said to his players, "You want this? Win 3 bleeping games." $225,000, the bonus money each player stands to make if they win at all.
Money.
I wanted to come to my house, Lombardi, the glass box of cash, my ring, all that. I want that same presentation. I don't want no direct deposits from this, playoffs. I want all my cash when we done, at the end. I want my cash coming to the crib looking just like they had it the other day, so.
Nick Foles, game-winning touchdown pass late in the fourth quarter to win Super Bowl 52. And then the next time we saw him in a postseason game, this last weekend in Chicago at Soldier Field, in the final minute of the game, a game-winning touchdown pass to advance the Eagles onto the divisional round. Foles is the first quarterback to throw a game-winning touchdown pass in back-to-back playoff games with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter since this Hall of Famer who joins us right now. Kurt Warner. Did you know that one, Kurt? You and Foles, the only 2 guys to do that.
I did not. Where do you find this stuff? They make stats for everything, Scotty, everything.
Well, and you've broken all the stats that we have. That's why we always have those distinguishing marks. It was Ricky Proehl in the NFC Championship game, less than 5 minutes to go. And then a week later in the Super Bowl, you hit Ike Bruce for the game winner as well. So, Foles, you're in good company right there. But Foles is a little distracted right now. He's got a heck of a task in front of him. We expect a lot of points to be needed by Philadelphia to beat the Saints. Does he keep up with Drew Brees this week?
Man, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. I mean, Drew, and if you think back to when they played him, and I know Nick Foles wasn't the quarterback, but, man, they put up a 40-burger on him and were making big plays all over the place. So when I look at Foles, there's a couple things that I think he's going to have to do, and one is make those big situational throws. We've seen that from him numerous times. He did it last week. A lot of third-down throws, the fourth-down throw for a touchdown. He's got to keep drives going with those big situational throws. And then he's going to have to get some big throws and some easy touchdowns or at least game-changing plays in the game. What you know about the Saints is they are a big play machine. They are going to stretch the field, and Drew's probably going to get a couple easy ones in this game. That's how you have to keep up. You got to match them big play for big play, and that's what's going to be on Nick Foles' plate.
Foles and Brees, a matchup of two quarterbacks from Westlake High School in Austin, Texas. All right, that's one of the great quarterback matchups we've got. Kurt, stand by in a couple minutes. I want to get your opinion on Brady versus Rivers.
Down to just 3 head coaching vacancies now that the Browns and Broncos have found their guys, Freddie Kitchens and Vic Fangio. The latter, a 60-year-old veteran defensive coordinator, is getting his first shot at a head coaching gig following a very successful season in Chicago, where at least one of his players is real unhappy about him leaving. Prince Amukamara, clearly a Fangio fan, as are, it would appear, the people in the Broncos front office. James Palmer with them in Denver. Ian Rappaport's got the story on Kitchens' hire in Cleveland. But, James, I want to start with you. Why was Fangio the right guy for that Broncos job?
Well, Lindsay, the number one thing John Elway wanted to do is he wanted to bring in someone that was brilliant on one side of the ball. Whether it was on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, they had to be top-notch, and they believe Vic Fangio is just that, one of the best defensive minds in all of football. And they also believe, even though Vance Joseph became a better coach in 2018 from 2017, they thought that losing culture in 17 kind of bled into 18. They want the culture to change. They believe he is a disciplinarian where players also thrive and grow underneath him. And also, it's expected that Gary Kubiak is going to come out of coaching retirement and be the offensive coordinator for Vic Fangio, who could, Lindsay, ease things up for him, as this is his first time as a head coach in the NFL. Gary Kubiak, obviously, a lot of experience. He can handle now the offensive side of things for Fangio.
Fangio, a longtime coordinator, 19 years of experience at that level. Kitchens has 8 games, Ian. What did the Browns see in those games this past season that convinced them he should lead this team?
Well, there was a lot to like for the job Freddie Kitchens did as an offensive coordinator. Obviously got this offense working well, got Baker Mayfield working well, and earned the respect of Baker. Clearly, this is a relationship they liked going forward, and had they, say, offered the job to Kevin Stefanski, the likelihood is that Freddie Kitchens would not stay. No doubt that was given some consideration, but this was the guy that John Dorsey, I'm told, really liked all along. It was notable they saved his interview for last, perhaps to confirm, compared against all the other candidates, what they thought. This is a leader and someone they believe is now going to be the head man and face of their franchise, obviously along with Baker Mayfield. That did mean that Greg Williams, the interim coach and, of course, defensive coordinator, was out. No surprise. This has always been the plan. And my understanding is when you have someone who's passed over for a promotion, keeping him in the building can sometimes be divisive. Not that Williams would necessarily be, but that, of course, is the fear. He did, by the way, send a thank you message to the people of Cleveland and just posted on Twitter calling them the most passionate fans in the world.
Ian, James, thank you very much. Another coach hired this week, Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay, who's already making headlines about his plans for the Bucs offense, and specifically, who will be executing it. This from the Rich Eisen show earlier today.
So he's your guy moving forward, Jameis Winston, quarterback.
There is no doubt, no doubt. So everything is going to be built around him.
So what do you think he can do, Bruce?
I think he can win it all. I mean, he has the intelligence, the toughness, and obviously the arm ability to to lead a team. We got to put the right pieces around him. Obviously, we got to do some things defensively, but if anybody can do it defensively, Todd Bowles can do it.
Well, if he's known for one thing, it's his work with quarterbacks. Arians is also his loyalty. And to that point, Arians is bringing a lot of his former staff members with him to Tampa, including Todd Bowles. Kevin Stefanski, a finalist for the Cleveland job. He's going back to Minnesota to run their offense. Ben Kotwika hired to head up the Falcons special teams unit. And as you heard James mention, Gary Kubiak is expected to return to Denver with Fangio. Right, a former Saints player is being praised as a symbol of hope. Last week, Steve Gleason became the first NFL player to receive a Congressional Gold Medal for his work advocating for people with ALS. Gleason was diagnosed with the condition in 2011. Senator Bill Cassidy, who introduced the bill, spoke to Good Morning Football today about why it was so important to honor Gleason.
Steve will be the first disabled or differently abled American who will receive the award. And I think his contribution to our ethic is equal to those who have previously gone before him. He actually gives hope for all Americans. Some folks feel like their life cannot have meaning. Steve has lived his life with incredible meaning, given himself for the cause of others, and that is something that every American, whoever she or he is, can take encouragement from.
Don't miss the unforgettable story of Steve Gleason, along with the dramatic push for his Congressional Gold Medal, on a special episode of NFL 360 with Melissa Stark, premiering Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Hall of Famer Kurt Warner racked up 31 touchdowns and 4,000 yards in the playoffs alone. 13 games, 9 wins, 2 rings.
You had 3 Cardinals there. Nothing they could do.
All right, sorry. 1 ring. All to say, he knows what each of these guys is going through.
Go.
The young player at the start of his career. The old geezer closer to the finish.
Hey, what are you looking at?
Pat Mahomes is a phenom, but he's never been here before. Phillip Rivers is having a career year, but he's never beaten him before. Who's got the edge? Kurt's got the answer. Plus, why the Eagles will beat the Saints and why the boys will beat the Rams.
We're not going home.
Upsetting news next on NFL Total Access.
The class of 2019 take their place among the greatest of all time.
And I love you guys, the fans.
Official Hall of Fame experience ticket packages are on sale now and include VIP access, premium seating, and parties with Pro Football Hall of Famers.
The bus will always and forever run in Canton, Ohio.
Get your package today at HOFexperiences.com. This is your chance for the experience of a lifetime.
20 points. That is the magic number for the Cowboys this year. When they score 20 or more, they win. Without fail, 10-0. Though they'll probably need to score more than that this week at LA, where the Rams are averaging 28 points a game. It is the primetime game on Saturday, and Jane Slater has more from Frisco.
Dak Prescott is just one game away from doing what no other Dallas quarterback has been able to do with the Cowboys in over 2 decades, and that's take him to the NFC Championship game. Prescott, a lifelong Cowboys fan, was in diapers at the time and likely doesn't remember most from that game, but he certainly knows the importance of it.
Yeah, it means a lot, and more than what it means because of the past. It means because of this group of guys that I'm going to do it with, just simply how we've been able to persevere all the adversity and everything that we've been through together, off the field, on the field. And I just know we've got the right guys to do it, and we're excited for this game.
Dallas's quarterback at the time, Troy Aikman, sent Prescott a text after his win over Seattle and said, quote, "First postseason win of many, but it is one foot in front of the other for Prescott as he gets ready to square up against the league's leading sack leader in Aaron Donald. Not to mention the Rams have one of the most formidable offenses left in the playoffs, featuring a young quarterback like Dak in Jared Goff, as well as a running back that is as efficient as Todd Gurley."
Well, you look at the quarterback matchup in this one. Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. The book on Goff was okay. He finally came into his own. He's got the play caller that he needs. He's just going to burst and have amazing stats. You look since week 12, Dak Prescott has outplayed, and I'm not saying with the legs either, with his arm. He has outplayed Jared Goff, and the 6-1 record of the Dallas Cowboys is the glaring number right there. So let's dive into this matchup, the Saturday night primetime game. Raise your hand if you think the Cowboys are going to upset the Rams. You get to go first, James Jones. How? You should make a case for the game plan they have to execute for Dallas to beat Los Angeles.
It's Zeke. It's Zeke. It's Zeke, and it's more Zeke. Listen, when Zeke touches the ball 22 times a game, they're 9-2. Get Zeke the ball. The Rams allow 5.1 yards rush, an attempt.
The Rams defense.
The Rams defense. Zeke is coming. And they're going to hand the ball off to, they know, the Cowboys know that's the formula to win when he gets the ball, when he gets a lot of touches. The Rams cannot stop the run. They're last in the National Football League, 5.1 yards per play. And Dallas Cowboys run the football. And I think this matchup for them, and I know where Willie's going, but this matchup for them is a very tough matchup because I don't think that this Rams defense can stop Zeke from running that football, and I think they're in for a long day.
Yeah. Now, Willie, you were a great defender in this league for a number of years. And you had a television in your house, just like the Rams defenders do. When the Rams defense hears reasonable people, albeit vociferous people like James Jones say that, they're going to get the ball pounded at them, and Zeke's going to beat them. What does that do to a team?
Absolutely. They're hearing this. And I would be disrespecting and say, you know what? For guys to say that we don't have a shot because we can't do this, which you have not done well.
Yep.
Okay?
And they know that.
And they know that. But understanding that. But if you got those personalities and those players in that locker room and you're telling them what they can't do, then that's motivating. Going into the playoffs with a bye week, you understand what you haven't been doing well and what you need to do well. Now, I will say, it's not for the lack of talent. It's for the lack of technique. They haven't been playing great technique. They've been giving up big plays, and it's been scheme runs. It's been teams coming in and understanding their aggressive front. They'll get upfield. Let's implement these type of runs. You got to play better technique. You got to do a better job on the back end. They're young on the back end. Outside of a couple of guys, they're safeties. They got to do a better job of communicating. Peters understands this. He knows this. He told me that on the football field. So I get it. But if you're this defense, if you're Wade Phillips, feel disrespected, okay? If you're everybody in that defensive side of the ball, feel disrespected because you got the whole world telling you what you cannot do and what you won't do against a team coming into your house, and you got a great opportunity. Is it going to be easy? Of course not.
And it might not be their house either, with the number of tickets we hear are being purchased by Dallas Cowboys fans. See it, Rams. Let's see it. Sean McVay going for his first postseason victory. Dallas going for their first back-to-back playoff wins since 1995. Hey, and an all Los Angeles Super Bowl is still potentially in play. Philip Rivers, he's got to get over a major hump in his career, though. He has never beaten Tom Brady and the New England Patriots head-to-head. What's it going to take to snap the losing streak? And who has the edge between Luck and Mahomes? Kurt Warner back with us and answering those questions.
Fires end zone, touchdown to Wes Welker. And the Patriots come up big when they really had to. The celebration has begun here in Foxborough.
There will be no trip to the Super Bowl for the San Diego Chargers this year. The magic carpet stalls tonight.
That was the last time we saw the future Hall of Famer Tom Brady against the possible Hall of Famer Philip Rivers in the postseason. Tom Brady came out on top, which is what has happened every time these two sensational quarterbacks have faced each other. Brady 7-0 head-to-head against Philip Rivers. That's the matchup for the early game on Sunday on Divisional Weekend. Our Hall of Fame quarterback, Kurt Warner, back with us again. What can Rivers' mentality be going into this game facing a guy he's never beaten before, KW?
Man, I tell you what, Scott, quarterbacks in the NFL are very strong mentally. But I tell you what, you can't avoid these kinds of things when you know the guy on the other sideline is Tom Brady and what he's done at his building in the playoffs. that's one of the things you have to wrestle with. And don't go in and try to change the way you play just to keep up with that guy. But then you add those numbers that you talked about there is, man, 0-7 against a guy. You want to come out and establish yourself. I mean, a lot of people talking after 15 years in the league, how many more chances is he going to get? He hasn't been to a Super Bowl yet. So there's a lot of things mentally that he's going to have to block out and just play 60 minutes of football come Sunday.
Let's look big picture on these two quarterbacks. They're both sensational. We know Brady's the slam dunk Hall of Famer. Rivers still on the borderline there. Rivers is 37. Brady is 41. For legacy's sake, who has to have a bigger game in this one? Or what's more on the line? Who has more on the line?
Well, I mean, I think we have to say Rivers in this one. I mean, I know, Tom can just keep adding the trophies to the trophy case and everyone looks more impressive. But Phillip Rivers, as you said, I mean, he's got numbers that say he's a Hall of Famer, but everybody looks at postseason and looks at he's never been in a Super Bowl. And so I think he's got more riding on this, and he's going to have to carry his team more. They need more big plays from their quarterback, I believe, to win in this setting than Brady's going to need to.
The winner of that game will face the winner of the Colts and Chiefs, the other AFC playoff matchup this weekend. Oh, the quarterback matchup here, Kurt. 89 touchdown passes between these two guys in the regular season. Who has the edge, Luck or Mahomes?
Man, I tell you what, I cannot wait to watch these two guys go at it. But I'm going to give the edge to Mahomes because he's just been the better player, maybe the best player in the NFL all year long. And the advantage he gains is this kind of stuff. Out of the pocket, I mean, these off balance in positions where you say, he can't make that throw. Well, yeah, that guy can make that throw. And he gains an advantage because he prolongs things with his legs and his athleticism, but also with that big arm and what he can do when he gets out there. And, we'll see right here, everybody covered up, buy some time, and he's got the athleticism to make plays with his legs. And not that Andrew Luck can't do that. It's just this guy's at a different level in what he can do with those things when things, when it breaks down and he's got to ad-lib and get off schedule. He's been really, really special this year, Scott.
Luck and Mahomes trying to do what this guy has done, win the Super Bowl championship and go to Disney World shortly thereafter. Thanks, KW.
Handoff to Ingram, out to the right. He's going to have all kinds of space. Mark Ingram walks into the end zone.
Wentz back. Wentz going deep downfield looking for Aguilar, and it's intercepted as the nightmare continues.
Breeze takes the snap, lost one down the sideline. Alvin Kamara caught it to 10, into the end zone, and the Saints continue to dance in the Superdome.
A lot of talk about Foles facing Breeze, but that defense that Foles is going to be facing is no joke either. Ouch. Third in the league in points allowed since Week 10. First in the league in sacks with 32, and tied for first in the league in takeaways with 16. How are they doing it, Sean O'Hara?
Yeah, Lindsay, those sacks and takeaways, they go hand in hand together, but they're doing a great job. It's not a lot of pressures. It's just quality pressures. And look, the last time the Eagles were in that building before they got run out of it, they looked up and it was 17-0. What I'm talking about, this is what we call a 4-2-5 double mug. By double mug, I mean both linebackers in the A-gap. It's only going to be a four-man pressure, though, Lindsay. They're going to drop the defensive ends on the outside. So the running back and the center have to be on the same page here. One of them's got to pick up one of the blitzers. Well, they do that. They just don't do a great job of it. Also, side note, Jason Kelce hurt his elbow on that play. He was out of the game. So Steven Wisniewski, the backup center. Now, this is the same exact blitz, Lindsay, just comes from depth. Right? Instead of linebackers standing in the A-gap, they come from depth. Makes it a little bit harder. Look what happens to the center. All right, he's on his you-know-what. Not where you want to be when you're down on Bourbon Street. All right, you want to be on your feet. But the pressure got home. There's the sack. So Nick Foles has got to do a good job. They got to do a good job early on of stuffing the pressure so you don't have to see it later on. That's going to be a big challenge for Nick Foles and the offensive line.
New Orleans, man, they're a tough out. 13 wins in the regular season, but, and I know this is going to shock you, James Contrarian Jones thinks they're going to go over in the postseason. How do you see the Eagles winning this one?
Well, Sean just made a good point. They have to start off fast. But I remember when we played, 2010 when we won the Super Bowl, we lost to the Falcons, who were a 13-3 ball club. We lost to them regular season. We came back in the playoffs. And we had confidence because we seen them before. We watched film. We said, okay, listen, we lost, but it's plays we left out there. We know we got ran out of the dome up there, but it's plays we left out there we could have played a lot better. And since Nick Foles has took over, they have been playing a lot better. Defense only giving up 55 rushing yards a game. They only allowing 17 points per game. This is a better football team than went in there last time they played the Saints. And I'm telling you, Nick Foles spreads the ball around to everybody. He's not locked in on Zach Ertz, so he's going to force that defense to cover Alshon Jeffrey, Golden Tate, Nelson Aguilar. And it's going to be tough. And I like the Eagles in this one. They played them. They got a chip on their shoulder for they feel like they ran the score up. They ran them out of the building. They coming in there with a lot of pride. They know they got to start off fast. They know it's going to be rocking. It's showtime. It's playoffs. Let's go. Let's go right now.
You're all about the underdogs, huh? Chargers, Cowboys,
I like the matchups.
and Eagles.
I don't even want to say they're underdogs. I like the matchups.
I'll tell you who else has to show up. The Eagles defense. Because don't think they're not getting a little bit irate because they're going to have to watch what they gave up to the Saints this entire all week long, play after play. Look, I mean, Malcolm Jenkins is going to have to watch Alvin Kamara run by him over and over again. Yeah, they're going to be a little salty.
They're a lot better than they were in Week 11, but are they 41 points better? That's the question that we're going to find out
right
answer
here, 17,
for.
Lance, 17. They giving up.
The Big Easy.
He's the magician. All right, a few injuries that we're keeping our eye on here for this weekend. Tyron Smith and Zach Martin both limited today in practice for Dallas. According to Jane Slater, no concern there. They're expected to play in this game. Eric Ebron upgraded from a DMP yesterday, was limited today, back at practice with a hip injury. Melvin Gordon did not practice, but as Omar told you, he is expected to play this weekend. And Sammy Watkins, this is actually good news that he was limited for the second straight day. He's only played once since Week 9, maybe working his way back from that foot injury. All right, it's not the ideal situation for a young quarterback to have 3 head coaches his first year in the league, unless, that is, you are Baker Mayfield. After the break, why everything is going according to plan in Cleveland. No, for real.
The biggest surprise of the day. Touchdown! NFL Game Day Pick'em. Friday at 6, only on NFL Network.
Well, recapping one of our top stories, 2 new coaching hires today. Freddie Kitchens goes to the Browns, Vic Fangio to the Denver Broncos. That means 5 of the 8 vacancies in the NFL have been filled. We did learn today that the New York Jets, one of their candidates, Matt Rule, the head coach at Baylor, Matt Rule will be staying at Baylor. So Miami, the Jets, and the Bengals searches continues. As for Cliff Kingsbury, who was named yesterday, he had his debut news conference today and then spoke with our Steve Weich.
Josh Rosen, of course, is going to be your quarterback for the future. You're going to be connected. What do you need to do to kind of get him in this offense rolling?
Yeah, I think just make sure he's confident in our system. You know, our system is one that's the QB's baby. He has a lot of control in what we do, and I want to make sure he's confident at all times in his decision making, and he knows where to go with the football.
You got some other pieces there, Larry Fitzgerald, David Johnson. How can they be incorporated in this? Because they see this is an offense where you throw the ball around a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to spread the football around to have a leader like Larry, who's been around. I'm excited to get his input on things in the passing game and how it's going to translate. And then David Johnson's a complete back, a guy who can run between the tackles and be dangerous in the passing game as well. So I like what we have here.
Now, we've seen the NFL adopt a lot of the collegiate offensive trends. How much do you think you're going to have to tweak what you do, or do you think you're going to be able to put the pressure on NFL defenses to kind of adjust to what you've done?
Yeah, I think that's something we'll have to find out. That's why I'm excited to get our offensive staff in here and kind of build this thing out together and take everybody's best ideas and see where we can go with it.
Lastly, in the same division as Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, 2 other great offensive minds, have you noticed anything in what they do? Have they sampled from you, or have you sampled from what they've done?
I've definitely sampled from what they've done. I don't know if they have from me, but it's one of those leagues where you're always looking for the new cutting-edge type plays and thoughts and ideas, and they're 2 of the best in the game.
Great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the new head coach in Titletown was introduced today. 39-year-old first-time head coach Matt LaFleur takes over the Packers. LaFleur, 2 seasons of experience as an offensive coordinator. 2 years ago, he was with the Rams. This past season with the Titans. He had a one-on-one interview with our Tom Pelissero.
Matt, you walk into Lambeau Field yesterday for the first time as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. What all has been going through your head since then?
There's been a lot going through my mind. I'll tell you what, when I walked through Lambeau, though,
chills went up my spine because this is such a special place, a lot of history, and I'm just honored to be a part of this organization.
How big of a change is this going to be for Aaron schematically, and how much of a voice is he going to have in the process of molding this offense?
Yeah, I think there's going to be certain things within our foundation that are going to be a little bit different for him. But also, anytime you're dealing with a quarterback, you want their input. And certainly, we're going to try to make it as seamless of a transition for him as possible.
Your new boss, Mark Murphy, closed his opening remarks today by turning to you and saying, after a couple of long years, we're ready to get back to winning. Can you do it in 2019?
I think absolutely. The one thing that I'll tell you is that we're going to be focused on our process, and I think I know our process is going to be right, and I think that it'll turn into more wins.
All right, now, admittedly, new coaching hires are a little bit like draft classes. We'll know in a few years, but we need instant analysis. So I turned to my former Green Bay Packer colleague and I asked, LaFleur in Green Bay, good fit?
You just said it all, man. Time will tell us. No, but what I do know is just talking to people in that building, he brings a lot of energy. Okay. They need that. You got new voice. You bring a lot of energy. You have everything in place. You draft a couple pieces on the defense, but you're looking at Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. You got Aaron Jones in the backfield. You got a star wide receiver in Devontae Adams. You got a star left tackle in David Bakhtiari. So he's coming into a very good situation with a very good football team with a lot of good players. So if he brings that energy and he gets Aaron going, this can be a very good turnaround, and a lot of Packer fans will be very excited.
Everybody knows you're buddies with Aaron Rodgers. How does he feel about the hire?
I haven't talked to him yet.
Okay,
I haven't talked to him yet, but we'll see.
Thought I could get a little something right there. Meanwhile, Freddie Kitchens with the Cleveland Browns. Now, he only had half a season as an offensive coordinator, but they went 5-3. Baker Mayfield played good football. You're a former Cleveland Brown plugged in there. What do we think?
I have talked to some people in the building, and the one thing that they said is this was a great hire, not only for Baker Mayfield, but for the team. The men in that locker room gravitate to Freddie Kitchens. They respect him. He's honest, no nonsense. Like whatever he tell you, that's what it is. And he earned those guys in the locker room respect. The other thing is they looked at his experience. He's been under some really good head coaches. Bruce Arians, Parcells. He's been in a lot of different systems, and he's earned his own way. He doesn't have a family member or a friend that's pulled him along and just elevated him. He's earned his own way. So he's learned on the go, from the ground all the way up. The other thing that they really, really like about him, as far as being not only a guy that can put a system in place, but also when you're dealing with an alpha like they are at the quarterback position, and a lot of other alphas in that locker room, they have to buy in. Yeah. They got to buy in. And you saw his record when he took over as the play caller offensively, the production that was out there. So there's a lot of respect there. There's a lot of players in that locker room that respect him, and they feel like he has the resume and the experience to take this team to the next level.
Well, if he does that, it's been a 16-year playoff drought for the Cleveland Browns. Right. If Kitchens is the guy to get him, they'll find a street to name after him in Cleveland. Doubters looking for a weakness in his skill set.
He pulls a Houdini.
Found one on his resume. They say he's going to struggle on Saturday because everyone struggles their first time out, because no one knows what a playoff atmosphere feels like until they're in one.
Give Mahomes credit.
After the break, are we sure that applies to Pat Mahomes?
All right, breaking news. Adam Gase, who was recently let go by the Dolphins after 3 seasons in Miami, is expected to be hired by the New York Jets to be their new head coach. Ian Rappaport just got this bit of information and joins us now. Ian, what you got? Ian Rappaport, who just got this bit of information and is putting on his microphone as we speak. Ian, what's the story here?
Let me tighten up my tie first. Here's what we know.
I love this.
Here's what we know.
Okay.
The New York Jets have a new head coach. It is going to be Adam Gase. the former Dolphins coach who interviewed with them a couple days ago, obviously impressed them, has such prowess with the quarterback position there. And, of course, that is going to be a lot of the areas of focus for the New York Jets. They wanted someone who could come in, work with this young quarterback, Sam Darnold, and try to get the most out of him. And I do know that when you talk to people close to Gase, Sam Darnold is someone he really likes, wanted to work with it. And the reality is this was the job that he wanted. This was the job that he hoped to get. I know there was some discussions with the New York Jets, with Matt Rule, the Baylor coach, a couple minutes ago. Rule sent a text message to members of his staff telling them he was out. That was an indication the Jets were going forward. I know they strongly considered Todd Monken, the former Bucs offensive coordinator, but instead now it is going to be Adam Gase, the new coach for the New York Jets.
Okay, so that leaves 2 vacancies left unfilled. Thank you very much, Ian Rappaport. Again, thank you for getting the jacket on and the mic. Okay, there you go. Take that call. Yeah, let us know if anything important happens. In the meantime, interested to get your thoughts on all of this. Willie McGinnis, Adam Gase, who went 23-25 in 3 seasons with the Dolphins, took them to the postseason in 2016. Things kind of went south after that. How do you like his pairing with Sam Darnold?
Well, I was going to say, outside of the quarterback position, I think Miami was a more talented team, but now you get Sam Darnold, a young quarterback. You got that, but there's a lot of other holes to fill on this football team. I would say you got some special players like Adams and other guys on that team, but you still have a void of a lot of talent. And the other thing that I'm interested in, will he have the ability and more freedom to help with the 53-man roster with McGadden? I'm not sure the GM or what their relationship is, but if he's going to have an effect to make that team better, he's going to need some type of say of the type of players that are coming into the locker room, which Todd Bowles didn't.
That's interesting, and these vacancies, they're dropping like flies, just filling up so quickly this week. We are counting you down to Super Bowl, and the night before the Super Bowl is NFL Honors, when we will announce the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award winner. And for the 3rd year in a row, Nationwide is sponsoring a charity challenge in conjunction with this award. The nominee that gets the most hashtag mentions, that's their name along with the hashtag WPMOY challenge, they will get $25,000 to go toward the charity of their choice. And the runner-up will get $10,000, and the 3rd place runner-up will get $5,000. So that's good stuff there. Still ahead, standard rule of tournament play. You never look ahead to who you face next until you take care of who you play now. It's a good rule. It's also a good thing that none of us are playing this weekend, because after the break, we are looking ahead. We are looking way ahead.
Talk about who's on the road to Atlanta, presented by Mercedes-Benz Vans. Team playing this weekend that has the best shot at making the Super Bowl is?
I've been saying it since preseason, filthy Phillip Rivers, Los Angeles Chargers.
Got to get past the Patriots. Never done that before.
Phillip Rivers, Los Angeles Chargers.
I'm going New Orleans Saints. They're the most balanced team. They've already beat the Rams. They've already beat the Eagles. They just got to get past the Cowboys if they get past the Rams.
You said make it to the Super Bowl, right?
Make it to the Super Bowl.
So we need 2 teams. So I'm going to say the Patriots and the Saints.
Patriots?
You got to make it to the Super Bowl. You got to play somebody.
Sneaking in too.
Way to ride the fence.
You got to play somebody.
My name's Willie. I'm an overachiever. I get extra homework.
I answered the question.
Willie,
So
and
he looked at all of us when he said it, too.
everyone answered the question.
Thanks for watching.
Gotta get the patch in.
On the air right now, we have breaking news. This is live television, and you got a little sense of what we do when we end Total Access. James Jones likes to stage dive. However, we have breaking news right now because the 6 of the 8 coaching vacancies has just been filled. Adam Gase, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, just dismissed from Miami recently, is now back in the AFC East with the New York Football Jets. Your thoughts, guys?
Well, obviously, he's an offensive-minded coach. They're probably thinking that he's going to come in there and get their quarterback right. So, hey, great hire, I guess. I don't know. I mean, you couldn't get Tannehill right. So, I mean, I don't know how you think he's going to get your young quarterback right.
I mean, when he was in Miami, they actually played the Patriots pretty well. So if you're a Jets fan, you're probly excited
one game? That's only one game.
About how well they did. I mean, it was more than one. It seemed like every single time the Patriots went down there, Adam Gase found a way to score points. So I think offensively, that's what they need with Sam Darnold. Somebody that could come in and help you score points.
And did he have a quarterback of the caliber of a Sam Darnold, who you can build an offense around when he was in Miami?
Yeah, I mean, people thought Tannehill was more of a game manager. I think the question...
Well, he didn't even have Tannehill the whole time.
Right. He was hurt, and then it was Cutler the year before. The offensive line is going to be a big issue.
Okay, guys, let's get NFL media insider Ian Rappaport on this one. We just found out the news. You just found out the news. Can you fill in any more blanks for us, Ian?
And this was a day-long odyssey for the New York Jets, trying to figure out who was their next head coach. Was it going to be Matt Rule, the Baylor head coach, who just recently, a couple minutes ago, actually texted members of his staff telling them he was out and he was going to stay at Baylor. I know the Jets also strongly considered Todd Monken, the Bucs offensive coordinator, but in the end, this was about Adam Gase, now the new coach of the New York Jets, and so much of this revolves around how he is going to work with Sam Darnold, who the Jets believe is going to be a big-time star. Gase's prowess with the quarterback position is well known, including the work he did not just with Peyton Manning, but helping Tim Tebow get to the playoffs, helping Jay Cutler have one of the best years of his career, and then leading Ryan Tannehill, when he was actually healthy, to the playoffs as well. Gase is renowned in that avenue, and that is one of the big things the Jets want. I know he had total control with the Miami Dolphins. Not expected to be the case with the New York Jets. It'll be just about football here, and the belief is that is what will help get the Jets more toward their winning ways and help them rebuild. I know Gase played the Jets incredibly tough when he faced them. I believe 5-1, and so instead of beating them, he's now going to join them.
Well put. Ian, this might be semantics, and you might not have the answer to this one, but we found out in about a 10 or 15-minute window that Matt Rule, the head coach at Baylor, staying at Baylor. Does that mean he was offered the job and rejected it, and then they went to Gase immediately, or that he found out that they were going with Gase and that he would text his staff that he was coming back?
Yeah, my understanding is there was no offer made to Matt Rule. There's only one offer, and that was to Adam Gase. But there were discussions with the Jets brass, with Matt Rule, about who his staff would be. I know there's some questions about how experienced his staff would end up being with the New York Jets. That led to some concerns. And instead of Rule saying, all right, well, I'll just hire the guys that we're discussing, he said, you know what? I'm good. I have a great job. I will just stay at Baylor. And that was probably the biggest thing that led to the hiring of Adam Gase. Not that Rule was the guy, but once he decided he was out, once the Jets decided it wasn't going to work, they quickly turned to Gase and made sure to get the deal done.
Ian Rappaport with the latest on the very rare breaking news. A coach leaves a division foe to go to another team in the same division. Thank you, Ian.
Very interesting. And so this is where we stand as far as the 8 head coaching vacancies that we had at the beginning of the week. 6 of them have now been filled. 2 by young guys who have no head coaching experience and very little coordinator experience in Cliff Kingsbury and Matt LaFleur. Then you've got Freddie Kitchens, who has very little coordinator experience, has been around a little bit longer, I guess, and will be a first-time head coach. Vic Fangio has been around forever. Bruce Arians, who has been head coach before, and Adam Gase, who has been a head coach before, obviously, as well. Of these coaching hires so far, any of them jump out at you as the one that you're the most excited about or optimistic, I suppose?
Not everybody speak at once.
You're looking at me.
Anyone?
I mean, I'm curious to see how Matt LaFleur works out. I mean, when you look at kind of the pedigree that he's been around and the offensive minds, the systems that he's run, I'm really curious to see how that works out. Obviously, it's the first time, and we're seeing a lot of these first-time head coaches. Some of them having success, some of them struggling with a lot of that, but it's a lot. I think about it from a player standpoint, to basically do 2 jobs at once, to be a head coach and to be calling plays. That's a lot to ask somebody, and there's a lot of things that you just you don't realize that you have to worry about. Challenge flags, timeouts. There's a lot of in-game stuff that I think a lot of these young guys are going to have to work on.
The operational part of being a head coach is a lot more than just XOs and writing plays and standing on the sideline with a headset. But I will say this about the Jets' position with Adam Gase, going over, in a division which you're comfortable with. there is less talent on this roster than it was in Miami. And beating the Patriots one time at home doesn't mean you're a great coach. You got to do a little bit more. Let's just remember all the things that happened with certain players that were on that roster. You got to be able to communicate and deal with these players, right? And up top, starting from the up top, from the GM spot, Maccagnan, okay? For what I know, he was not supportive. He did not work well with Todd Bowles when he was there. He did not give him the resources he needed. When he had decisions that he had to make, Todd Bowles was not involved in that. Will Adam Gase have that relationship with him going forward? Will they work unilaterally together to bring in players to help with that system you need? There's certain things that happen in this league I really don't understand. Is this a great hire? I'm not sure. We'll see. Is Adam Gase talented? I think he is. I think he has a good football mind, but there's a lot of work to do. You have a quarterback. So if you made this move for a head coach just because you have one player that you're trying to develop, this is not going to work.
I'm going Denver Broncos. I love the Vic Fangio hire. Listen, I played against his defenses in San Fran when he had big-time pass rushers in Aldon Smith. Then he goes to Chicago. He has big-time pass rushers with Khalil Mack, Floyd on the other side. You're coming into a very good situation. You start off with that defense. You have Von Miller. You have Chubb. You draft some players in the secondary. I think this is a great hire by them. And then you get Kubiak back as an OC. I think this is very good for the Denver Broncos. I love the hire.
All right, well, we'll have lots more on all of this coming up on NFL Total Access after the Kansas City Chiefs New England replay, which we're going to watch one more time here on NFL Network, preparing for this weekend's divisional games and maybe a Chiefs-Patriots matchup later on down the line.